What's going on, everybody? It's Reed. Thank you so much for joining me today, where we spread love, joy, inspiration, and just all around good vibes with the whole internet so people always have a reason of why this life is worth living. We are not here to bring people down. We are not here to tear people apart. We are here to show people that we are all in this together and they will not have to suffer alone with anything they're going through. This channel is a safe place for people to come when they feel lonely, unlovable, and uninspired. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you keep tabs on what I'm doing, you know the videos that are being posted, and you always have a place to go. This video is going to be all about how we can stop blaming ourselves, tips and tricks on how to do that, and reasons why we should. Let's get started. So, blaming ourselves is something that I feel like we always subconsciously do, or we really consciously do, but we don't really know how to get out of it. It does a lot of damage to our body, in our heart, and just our mind and soul overall. So we need to find different ways to move past that. For me personally, it was a really hard thing to kind of stop doing because I always found myself blaming myself for how others treated me or how I treated myself or things that happened in my life. It was always my fault, no one else's, it was my doing, and there was no way around it. For example, I was in this 7-year off and on relationship from high school until my early 20s, and when that ended, I nitpicked every little thing, every little detail of what I did wrong. I never put blame on him. I pushed him aside. It was my fault. I could have made it work. I could have tried harder. I messed up here. I messed up there. It was never on him. He did nothing wrong. He was like such on this pedestal as a person, and I blamed myself for 7 years gone. And so that was very damaging for me because that's all I thought about. It really became such an obsession with me of how I could have done better and how I should have done better. And I just blamed myself for everything. It took me about 2 years to really stop doing that, until where I could look at different situations of what he did wrong or where he could have done better. Little things like that. So when I really started stopping putting the blame on myself, I realized I had to look at the bigger picture. And we all need to look at the bigger picture, whether it be in a career or a weight loss goal or a relationship, a move, anything like that, anything that doesn't kind of work in our favor right now, we need to remember to look at the bigger picture. In this relationship in particular, I could look back now and say, okay, well, I could have done this differently, but what can I learn from that? How can I improve from that? How can I make myself better in that aspect so it doesn't happen again? I stopped putting the blame on myself there because I'm only human. We are only human. We can only do so much, and we can only take so much. We all mess up, but that's where we can learn. Once you hit the mess up part, you can grow from that and move forward. So just overall looking at the bigger picture and how we can learn from that mistake or issue is going to be just game changing. So really got to start there. Look at the overall picture and kind of move forward and think about what you can learn from it, how you can grow. So other than that, you need to trust yourself and you need to trust the universe. If you believe in God, then you need to trust in God. I always just say the universe because you don't really know who believes in what, so you just say the universe because people can put their own name to it. So you really got to trust in the universe and trust in yourself. Trust in yourself that at that time you made the decision that you thought was right for you in that moment. Was it the right choice at that time? It might not have been. Was it the right choice in me for some of my actions during that relationship? Probably not, but at the time I thought it was. So really trusting that you knew what you were doing in that time, and that's what you wanted at that time. Once again, looking at back at that, if I could talk, looking back at that and really just learning from it. But also, when we also look at the big picture with the universe or God or whatever you believe in, knowing that there is a bigger plan. Stop putting the blame on yourself there and know that there's a bigger plan coming for you, which is going to be bigger than you could have ever imagined. Was that relationship ending for me an awful time, and did I really struggle with it afterwards? Absolutely. Kind of went a little psycho. It is what it is. But I know that there's something way ahead of me that I don't know what's coming yet, And when I start thinking in that aspect, it makes me so incredibly excited. I could be sad for a little bit, and that's okay to be sad for a little bit about a mistake that you made from a past decision. But start getting happy about what's to come. Really start to hype yourself up about what's to come, because there is a plan bigger than you can imagine in the universe, or God, or Buddha, whoever. There's a plan that's already outlined for you, that is in place. We just got to learn to go with the flow of it, which I struggle with. Going with the flow, I like control. But knowing there's a bigger picture there is going to change everything. Also kind of looking back and realized where you were kind of pressured to do things you didn't want to do. And I don't really have any like solid examples for that right now, but just in the future, knowing that you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. If you don't want to do something on a Friday night, don't do it. If it could possibly put you in a situation where you might regret your decision later, don't even put yourself there. Eliminate those situations where you can just push them aside and realize, no, that's not for me. Acknowledging things that aren't for you is going to be insane. It's going to completely change the game of your life, and it'll put you in such a good spot. Also, realizing that when you put the blame on yourself, you are keeping yourself in such a low energy, and you're carrying so much guilt at that time, that it's going to be incredibly hard to move past that. If you are just sitting in guilt all the time, how do you expect to grow from that? When I was really grieving that relationship and blaming myself wholly on everything that happened, I felt so crappy about myself. So crappy about myself all the time, because I was a crappy person. I made terrible mistakes. I really screwed up. I could have done better. All of those are such negative things to say, especially to yourself, because your mind only knows what you tell it. If you keep saying, I'm a crappy person, I could have done better, I will never do that the right way ever again. It's just so negative, and it just puts yourself in such a negative mindset where you'll stay. Where instead, we can easily just say, you know what? I messed up. I can own it. I'm going to move forward, and I'm not going to do that again because I know what that did to me. And that's a pretty simple thing to say. Is it hard to implement? Absolutely. Will it be tough sometimes? For sure. But it's definitely doable, especially if you repeat it over and over again. I mean, not like 15 times in a row. You could if you want to. I really don't care what you do. But if you really just sit there and just be like, you know what? I messed up. I know I messed up. Oopsie daisies. But then from that, you can move forward. You can just kind of let it go. Right when you say oopsies, you instantly kind of just feel this release of like, you know what? I just messed up. Everybody messes up. That job you had that you thought you messed up, somebody probably messed up 10 times worse, but they're not like holding on to that forever. Stop holding on to things you can't control anymore. If you could control it, you'd probably go back and redo it. I would probably go back and redo things a little bit, but then I know I wouldn't be where I was today. So know that everything that you're blaming yourself for is now a learning experience, and everything you went through that you're putting blame on yourself for is making you the person you are today. It is the process and the journey that you'll have to go through for the end result of where you will be your best and truest self. So always know there's a bigger picture here, guys. You will get through anything that you are going through. If you are sad about the relationship ending and you are putting blame on yourself, let it go. They're out of your life for a reason. There's bigger and better things coming for you. If you lost a job because you made a stupid mistake, don't do that mistake again. Learn from it, live through it, grow from it, and just know that moving forward it will be in your best interest, and that blaming yourself will only hurt you and never help you. Own up to your mistakes and just learn from them, guys, because that's the only thing we can really do. But overall, I wish you guys all the best. I try to keep these videos under 10 minutes, and I'm already at 9 minutes and 28 seconds. So we're going to get this thing rolling. You guys will do great things. I have faith that you will do great things. Really learn to love yourself, guys. I'm always here if you need me through YouTube or Instagram. Stalk me wherever, except for my house. Don't do that, because that's weird. But just stay happy and healthy, guys. You will do great things. And we will go through all of this together. You are not alone in this life, and this life is worth living. Take care.